like I said before, display your collection. Even if you don't have room to get it out, get a few things out on your desk or on your shelf somewhere. You get a dozen of those pops out and line them up. And if you only got room for a dozen of those pops, leave those out for a month or two, then rotate another dozen and take those dozen out, rotate another dozen, and that way you can enjoy them. They're conversation pieces. I hardly have anybody over to my house. I don't like people, I don't trust people, nobody comes over to my house. But every now and then, the other one will bring somebody over to that. It's a great conversation piece. They walk into my den or my office, and it's just like, what is all this? Yeah, if you've got a coffee table that's got a glass top, then you can put some things under it, display some stuff under your coffee table, whatever it may be, even if it's just some books of your favorite character or whatever. Get them out, because you can't enjoy them unless you see them. All right, questions. Pretty good questions. Got a little smaller group today, so it went a little bit faster. I've got, feel free to, I'll leave this up for a little while, because we're finishing up a little bit early. The website that I put all this stuff out on, it's just www.drstrangearchive.com, and almost everything that's in my collection, I got about 200 comic books out there right now, but there's close to 800. I've got every Doctor, or almost every Doctor Strange. If he appeared on a cover, if he appeared on a splash page of one single panel in a comic book, I'm the addiction. I've got that completionist attitude. I've got that comic book. So I've got all those comic books listed out there. All these different collectibles. Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd had a picture disc in the 1960s that had Strange Tales artwork on it, where Dr. Strange's leg is on there and the Living Tribunal's head's on there. You know, there's a lot of really cool stuff out there. So if you're bored, you just want to kind of flip through it. Also, if you just got any questions over collecting at all at any time, you can write my email address down. It's just librarian@archive, and I'd be more than happy if I know the answer. I can at least point you towards where you can get the answer for whatever you're looking for. Because even though you might be doing something that's not a Doctor Strange collectible, a lot of the same concepts and principles apply to whatever you're collecting. So, and the other thing is the Facebook link up there and the Instagram. I'm kind of getting off Facebook. Facebook is really, keep my language down. If you don't know how Facebook works, if you've got a group page or like a page like I've got for the Doctor Strange Archive, if I've got 600 followers, anytime I make a post, it only shows up on about 5 to 10% of those people's feeds, because they want you to pay money to boost your post so everybody else can see it, as opposed to if I put something on my site, it should show up on all 600 people's feeds that are following me. But Facebook, because they're trying to make money off of all that, has kind of gone away from all that. So I've done a lot more Instagramming lately. I try to do usually one Instagram post a day at least, just because it's more interaction. A lot more people are, flipping through Instagram these days. So, question? I loved it at home. I drove 3 hours from Chicago to get down here this morning, and I loved it at home. That's what I was telling some of the other people. I wanted to show the black light, because it's beautiful. That thing with the black light. And I actually got, because my regular day-to-day job is I'm a forensic detective. I do all the stuff you see on NCIS and CSI and all that type of stuff. So I've got a really high volume UV light that just makes this thing glow, and it looks beautiful. But I forgot to bring the light, I'm sorry. Any other questions? Yes?
Just wondering, we were talking about damage to the lush, like humidity, UV, etc. What's the most damage that's ever been done to your collection, and what did it?
Well, to be honest, I've kept most of my stuff because I'm very meticulous. I keep most of it very well cared for, but because the majority, that one slide that I showed you of everything in the boxes, that was in my basement. What do you think the biggest risk in a basement is? Flooding. That's why all my stuff was in 1.5 foot tall clamp sealed bins, so if it flooded a couple inches or a foot, it wouldn't get into the bins, so that would help. But a lot of people, when basements flood, and especially like up in the Chicagoland area and that where it could happen on a regular basis, that's a serious risk that could destroy your collection. One thing I forgot to mention, I didn't put it on the slide, was insurance. Please, if you've got a collection, call your insurance company and find out what you're covered for, because all homeowners policies only cover to a standard dollar amount, and if your collection is worth more than that, you're not getting the money back if something happens to it. There are riders that are fairly inexpensive that you get on your homeowner's insurance policy that will protect all your collectibles. So when I'm traveling, I've got this stuff out on the road. I do C2E2 is way too expensive to display at, but in Juliet, the Galaxy Comic Book and Fantasy Art Expo, I'm going to be taking up an entire stage where I'm bringing a huge collection out. I'm building an actual Vishanti window so people can take pictures by it and everything else. But I have to take that into consideration where I don't want any of this stuff damaged or destroyed, and if it does, I need to be able to recoup that money.